On today's DNVR Nuggets podcast, we're going to take a look at KCP and Christian Braun and who guards all of the star guards in the Western Conference better. We're going to look at the numbers. We're also going to talk about Bo Nix and Sean Payton, not from a Broncos lens, but he has his players back. How important is that? Does Michael Malone match that? And then, of course, Jamal Murray. I don't know if you guys heard. Signed his max extension. We're going to get Harrison's thoughts and see if we have updated thoughts on it. All this and more on DNVR Nuggets. Oh, there's no little bumper here today.
Oh,
all right. That was
no bumper in Studio B.
Caught me on by surprise.
This is not the Toyota Lounge.
That's man. Wait,
this is the podcast studio.
This is the podcast studio.
Adam, welcome to our job, our office.
No, thank you so much. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this great Monday edition of the DNBA show. I'm excited for this one, man. We were talking before the show. Monday shows just have a little more juice.
Oh,
yeah,
they have a little more juice because you get 2 days to think about what you want to talk about.
See,
you really let the takes pile up over the weekend.
I'm overflowing with takes.
This is why my life is terrible on Mondays, because everybody has a full weekend to think about their little projects, and they
like, this is what I'm going to say to D-Line on Monday.
And then everybody shows up all jazzed up. They're like, all, hey, we got to, and then I'm like, oh. And then by Tuesday, everyone's like,
we're just burned out.
Yeah, they're like, no one follows it through, whatever it is.
You made all these graphics for no purpose.
I'm telling you, it's like every Monday I'm like, when everyone
we should just change Mondays to start at noon, and then Fridays can go a little longer.
Well, horrible. This is the worst idea I've ever heard. Not from Harrison, from anybody.
It's a great idea because nobody works on Friday anyway.
Yeah.
So those hours wouldn't count.
Okay, I guess that works for you.
See,
I haven't ever asked a graphic from you. Honestly, how long has it been?
Well, I just make them.
Well, that's this is the power of suggestion.
Adam,
you never ask for anything.
You're never going to win this argument. You're never going to win.
Nobody wears the grievance Olympics. He's a 12-time Olympic gold medalist. I don't know what you guys were doing this weekend, but I was pumped up for the Denver Broncos.
Jazzed?
I was jazzed for the Denver Broncos, man, and I was watching my Broncos. It was the first time I've been excited to watch our Denver Broncos in a long time. And you want to know something? Totally foolish. That game was so boring, man.
Well,
I was on my phone by the second quarter.
Hold on. I think we got something with Bo. I'm serious, man.
You might be right.
Listen, man, I looked.
It was that rushing touchdown, wasn't it?
It was that drive.
That was it for me.
It was that drive. Like, listen, man. Like, thanks for everyone tuning into the Nuggets show. Now we're gonna go into some Broncos
This is about
talk.
Nuggets, by the way. We're setting the table, so in case you don't know.
This is Broncos corner in Nuggets world. Quickly, I think
Reaction Monday.
I think Miroslav and the other Serbs would agree that this is an important thing to talk about. Listen, Bo Nix showed grit. And he showed that he could rise to the occasion when the most difficult moment of the game was presented to him.
The prevent defense, yeah.
I don't think it was prevent defense.
Okay.
This is really in-depth.
I know. We're
all 22 analysis
here.
here.
Hold on. So here, if you don't know, the rookie quarterback, most important position for football. Rookie, first year, he comes out with some hype behind him, and he has not a great game. In fact, it was a pretty rough one, I thought. He did have a nice drive at the end. Superstar Dev, by the way, predicted it. He goes, I know how this game's going to go.
Of course.
Bo Nix is going to suck. He'll have a late drive to almost win the game at the end, and everybody, all Broncos fans, are going to get really excited. So he predicts it to D-Line, and here's D-Line walking right into the shoes that he laid out.
That's what happens to every rookie quarterback.
Yeah. Well, so I guess it wasn't that great a prediction. But why do I bring it up? Because we spent too long on the laying the foundation here, but you go to the post-game presser and Sean Payton, the Denver Broncos quarterback, he says, you could literally blame any other person besides Bo Nix.
Yeah.
He was fine. He actually did great. You should blame the line. You should blame the receivers. You should blame the coaches, including myself. You should blame everyone else. Bo Nix was fine. And unlike last year where Russell Wilson also sucked, and every time Sean Payton would come to the podium, he'd be like, God, our quarterback sucks. He's terrible. How do we sign him to a deal? It's night and day. And it makes me think, man, I buy Bo Nix because I do think he can be good.
Buy Bo.
I'm buying Bo. But I also just know that no matter how good you are, if your coach doesn't believe in you, it's almost impossible. And no matter how bad you are, if your coach believes in you, you're going to get chances.
I don't know if you saw, I'm glad that we can keep this to football. Tua Tagovailoa is the quarterback.
Tua, most people.
Is the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Hot NBA talk here. And he had a coach in Brian Flores who left and then brought in Mike McDaniels from the Denver Broncos world. Anyway, Tua Tagovailoa was asked, like, what's the difference between those two coaches? He's like, so if you wake up and your coach tells you suck, you don't deserve to be here, the offense is not working because of you, that tends to not work. And then somebody comes in and they tell you that you're the perfect guy for this offense and it's everything's working great. How would you feel? Yeah. And that, I think, illustrates your point. Like, now the Dolphins are rolling since last year into this year. Like, there's really the human psychological element of sports is so underappreciated. People get really into the stats, the stats, obviously, all this stuff, everything surrounding the sport tells the story. Yeah. But it's so easy to forget, like, how you're feeling affects how you perform, and that's
1,000%. It not literally affects your health.
Yes, and it's not quantifiable. And
if I could tie this into the Denver Nuggets basketball team.
There you go.
Boring.
I go back to Torrey Craig.
Yeah.
The Nuggets plucked Torrey Craig out of Australia.
Yeah.
New Zealand. Like, the guy was playing at nothing near an NBA level, and he had a pretty good showing at Summer League and then was on the Nuggets on a 2-way contract. And Michael Malone believed in him so much that guy is still in the NBA today. Like, Torrey Craig has enjoyed a very successful post-Nuggets NBA career because of what he did in Denver.
Well, and he deserves it. Like, he's a good player. He's earned his spot here. But to your point, that was a guy that if a coach didn't believe in him, he just never plays. Right. And maybe he's beat down.
Michael Malone believed in him from, like, the first training camp practice that Torrey Craig had with the Denver Nuggets. And there were some other things too. Like, they needed that type of athlete and defender on the roster. Yeah. But really, this was a guy that under other coaches and other coaching staffs, if he landed on another team, he could have been out of the league, never even in the league, like, in the first place, really. So a coach's belief in you can make or break your entire career.
Yeah. And this really is where it comes to the Nuggets, because I believe that Michael Malone is more so than most coaches, a guy who is almost binary in his belief or disbelief in players. That there are just guys that he buys and believes in and likes, and there are guys he does not believe in from the start. And there are very, very, very few players who I think have climbed out of the hole of the Malone belief. And I always bring this up. I mean, again, Jalen Pickett's second-round pick, he might have never hit just because we watch him play. But I'm telling you that I liked him as a prospect. I like him through Summer League. But going into even the rookie year, not this last year, but the rookie one, have some conversations. You're around the coach a little bit more. You're this, and I go, oh, he hates this dude. Yeah. Like, he hates him. And from that moment on, I was like, it's going to be an uphill climb. And I would say there's a handful of guys that fit that category. I think Zeke Nnaji is one of these guys that when I hear Malone talk about him or when I'm around and just observing, I'm like, oh, he hates this dude.
Yeah.
Can you put this into a football perspective?
Are you having a hard time giving it? It's kind of like Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I don't think that this is in fact, I know that this is how every organization works. Like, if you like guys, you give them opportunities. If you don't, you don't. And that's there's a lot of different ways to find the favor of a coach, and there's a lot of ways to fall out of favor with a coach. But Michael Malone is a guy, he's a, like, above all, what is that? I thought it was an alarm saying that
big day at the bar. We're installing Coke into our bar.
That's
Huge
Jamal
day.
Murray's,
the beverage.
That's the Brinks truck.
That's also happening at the bar. The Brinks truck.
That's so dope. They're delivering it here.
Yeah. just like for us. He's like, oh, you didn't think I deserved it?
We're like,
you want to see a picture of it real quick?
Every post game, Brendan Vogt will parcel out a little bit more of his money to Jamal Murray. He just has to bring it to them. Anyway, that's just the way of the world. So, I would agree with you that Coach Michael Malone is not good about masking his feelings for players, which is
He's one of the worst maskers.
You know where he falls on every single player ever.
Yeah,
actually.
It's actually not that hard.
That'd actually be fun.
Well,
that'd be a fun exercise.
And honestly, I think that people would be surprised to see the different guys throughout the years that were and were not Michael Malone guys. Because I think there's this, he's like a Duke guy. So he would just like guys that slap the floor. And honestly, there's some guys that for whatever reason fit that mold that he hasn't necessarily liked. And there have been some players where you go, I'm surprised that that's a Malone guy. But
Davon Reed,
Malone, the craziest Malone
dropped
guy,
off the face of the earth the second he left the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Like he's playing in Antarctica.
Yeah,
we know right now. And he was like a rotation player for the Nuggets the first part
and
of
he actually was like
the 2022-23 season.
So one of the things I want to do here,
I know.
So again, I think and Michael Malone, by the way, is aware of this as well, because he has often said the most important thing I can give a player is confidence. That's a line he has said repeatedly. He plays Zeke Nnaji with 0 starters, 94% of his minutes, but nonetheless, he has these feelings. So I want to go through and say, I made a list of who I think it's most important for Michael Malone to just believe in this year, whether he does or doesn't, to show it. And I actually think the number one guy is Christian Braun. And I think a lot of people would probably think Julian Strawther because he's younger, new, and this or that. If Christian Braun has a bad year this year, there's a compounding effect to that because everyone below, all of a sudden, it just messes everything up. And Christian Braun, here's the thing about him. If you look, he doesn't shoot threes that often. And I think one of the reasons is one way you can really piss off Malone is to miss threes. So if you don't take them, it's like, hey, I was 0 for 1 instead of 0 for 3 today. And then on top of that, when you talk about confidence, shooting is the one thing that requires supreme confidence. This is why guys catch fire and start making them. They just tell themselves. So for me, Christian Braun is number one.
I think that's correct. The Nuggets need him to have a big season. And like for Nuggets teams going forward 2 years, 3 years down the line, those teams need Christian Braun to have a big season this year too. And you're totally right with the 3-point shot. You can see there are guys on other teams in the league who aren't good shooters, who aren't as good as shooters as Christian Braun even, who shoot threes with more confidence than he does. And I've got to think it's something that's instilled from that coaching staff of that team. They're just like, yeah, just shoot it if you're open. We don't care if you make it.
I think that a lot of it comes from the other players on the court too. Like
having
been...
You're right. This is
having been
thing.
Courtside. I was courtside a couple times.
Yeah, you were.
I was able to observe these gentlemen in their natural setting, and I just watched like Bruce Brown walk off the court and scream at the top of his lungs at Michael Porter Jr. for not swinging the rock over to him. There are dynamics that the players like, do not shoot it now, swing the rock, or like Jamal in the last year, actually, to the Christian Braun point, was like trying to get him to shoot. Like, there's this one thing for your coach to tell you to do it, and there's another thing to like, there's like if somebody was like, "Hey, let Eric talk more," and then you guys don't let me talk more.
Yeah. And actually, let me interrupt there. So to bring it back to us, Harrison,
the other aspect of this, just in terms of this season, and just like Christian Braun is the Russell Westbrook component, and if Christian Braun struggles, there's going to be a lot of pressure. And a lot of talk about should Russell Westbrook start. And I don't think that'd be a good thing for the Nuggets.
Dude, that's the darkest timeline.
Exactly. So, yes, Christian Braun needs to have a good year. And Michael Malone needs to have, I think, the utmost confidence in him from day one. I even remember saying, like, earlier this summer, I kind of wish Michael Malone would just come out and give Christian Braun the starting job. Like, no matter what, just go into training camp. Yeah, Christian Braun's our starting shooting guard. There's going to be a competition. And like, I can't be mad about that because that's what every coach would do. That's just how things are done.
Especially Michael Malone. Yeah. And look, he's not either right nor wrong on this. It's a type. And his type is you have to always earn it. And I'm never even going to hint my hand that you have an inside track.
And Christian Braun is going to earn it. If he doesn't, for some reason, that's a huge red flag. Massive. But yeah, it starts like at the very beginning of the season. He's got to have a great, first week, first month.
I love your point. You are right, though, that it is the whole team, because we all know the coach that likes a player and the team hates the player, and that actually has a negative effect on it. Like it could be worse.
Like Austin Rivers' career.
That's rough. That is one example, I suppose.
Yeah. Like, hey, why don't we? let Austin Rivers shoot it. You're like, your son? Yeah, we're good. We're not gonna do
But
that.
the belief of the coach, there's just different layers of it. And I just think that one of the storylines, when we talk about whatever, riffs or this or that between front, I know it's a tired topic, but I think one of them is Calvin Booth says we have to go young. And one of the very first ingredients of succeeding with that plan is a coach has to believe that that plan is right. And if he doesn't believe in it, he has to pretend he does.
Yeah.
So that well enough that the players at least feel like, man, my guy has my back. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know that Christian Braun entered the Nuggets as a Malone guy. I think he has earned it. I think he's one of the few guys that has earned it, but I don't think that was the case early on.
But that's so weird, right?
You would think.
Christian Braun, hard-nosed defender, a
Floor
hustler, plays tough,
Yeah.
just does his job, can fit into a bunch of different lineups, plays hard every time he's out there. I have no idea why he wouldn't be a Michael Malone.
He's definitely he is a
I
Mike
think
Malone
he
guy.
is.
He is.
He
It's
just
I think he's one of the guys that kind of made himself into it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, but that I think is incumbent upon every player to make themselves
Sure.
a Malone guy. Like I think everybody is at the beginning. Like Malone is like he looks at us all like his children, his flock.
Well,
Like I don't know that I'm currently a Malone guy,
yeah.
but I think I could become one if I put in the right situation.
Well, we're going to talk about other guys on the other side who also, I think, really need the support of Michael Malone. And some of them maybe have had an easier path to earning Michael Malone's trust. So we'll talk about that on the other side.
Guys, we are so excited to team up with UC Health,
Hell
our
yeah, dude.
partner and our friends over there. UC Health, they know how important mental health is and encourages Coloradans to live their healthiest lives through statewide initiatives that include taking care of your mental health. This is especially pertinent to Broncos fans, to Buffs fans, to football fans in this state.
Oh, they're all listening to this podcast.
They are. This was a football pod for 5 minutes of this show today. Take care of your mental health today so you can have better tomorrows. If you want to learn more about UC Health's initiatives, see more of their inspiring patient stories, you can head to uchealth.org/tomorrow to learn what it means to live like there is a tomorrow. Mental health, it's something that we take for granted a lot, but it's so important to take care of. Something that can impact you every day, work, home, in your daily life. So take care of it with UC Health. Check out their website, uchealth.org/tomorrow to learn what it means to live like there is a tomorrow. You can also see more inspiring patient stories from UC Health at uchealth.org/tomorrow.
Also want to tell you that Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. You guys know what I'm doing this weekend, man? I shouldn't tip my hand
Driving
too
your
much.
Toyota.
Well, yes, that is part of it.
Yeah, that sounds sweet. Dude.
I'm going right up to Rocky Mountain National Park. I love going this time of year. It's my absolute favorite week of the year when I get to go up there with the fam, with the
Dang.
girls, staying in a nice Airbnb. And you better believe to get there, I'm riding my Toyota Highlander.
Nice.
Speaking of which, what great names they have, don't they? Highlander.
There can
That's
only
such a
be
cool-
one, dude.
So
Only
Colorado.
There can only be one. I'm going to the Highlands in my Highlander. Trucks have also always been a part of Toyota's DNA for generations. Toyota has built durable legends destined for greatness and perfect for Colorado. So whether you're conquering those off-road trails like myself, riding up Old Fall River Road.
I imagine you'll be off-roading quite a bit with you
Hey,
and
man,
the
have you
girls.
ever gone up Old Fall River Road? It's a little rocky. It's a little bumpy. You got to have that high clearance of
Okay.
the
Hey,
Highlander,
listen.
maybe a Tacoma, Land Cruiser, or any of the other things. You guys know it's the unofficial vehicle of Colorado, but the official vehicle of DNVR.
They got to
official-
make that part official.
It's the official vehicle of my heart. Does that count?
Yeah. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota and Boulder, Groove Toyota and Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver. That's mine. Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood.
Toyota is a proud partner
Thank
of the
you.
Denver Nuggets, the official vehicle of DNVR.
Yeah, the old pro over here, Harrison Wind. All right, we're back here, segment 2, and we're talking about Michael Malone's trust. I think, actually, I'll throw it over to D-Line. He's been quiet during these ad reads,
Oh, hell yeah.
other than when he was interrupting.
Yeah.
Who, if Christian Braun is number one most in need of the Michael Malone, I believe in you, I believe in you, who is number 2?
I would say, I mean, there's guys that
Not
we need.
yourself. Just not you.
Well, I don't think he
We
does.
know it might be you, but just for
I know
the
he
sake of this, not
doesn't
you.
believe
He
in me.
definitely doesn't believe in you.
I think probably you're looking at the guys that you want to take a leap. I mean, The guy who needs it the most is Zeke Nnaji. Like he really needs to have somebody on his side and like being like, hey, listen, we're gonna bring it back. But I don't think that that's the best use of Michael Malone's love.
Yeah.
It's definitely P-Watt. I mean, like that's the other guy we have to see a big jump from this year. Potentially Strawther. I mean, Strawther's like a kind of unique case because he has flashed. He's been notably had plays run for him where other players haven't.
A lot of plays.
A lot of plays. So that shows that foundation is already laid, that Michael Malone does believe in him. But he's still kind of entering his rookie season because he missed so much time last year. P-Watt's the guy, like they gotta like really make him feel like he's the man, you know?
Yeah.
I'd probably say P-Watt too.
I'd say P-Watt, yeah.
Just because Strawther's very important too. Like we can talk about him in a second, but P-Watt, I feel like he is, if you're talking about most important players to winning a championship for the Nuggets this season, I think he might be 6th. Like I really think he's that vital.
I think so. I agree.
Even though he might not be their, technical 6th man, I think he's their 6th most important player outside the 5 starters. He's got to take a big jump. Absolutely. Offensively, defensively. And Michael Malone is going to have to trust him to make some mistakes, particularly on the offensive end of the floor.
100% agree. And by the way, to put it this way, there are guys that can like just do your job. Go out there and buy us bench minutes in a playoffs, right? Maybe knock down a shot here. But then there's other players that can win you a playoff game or playoff series, and P-Watt represents that to me.
Yeah.
The best version of him is a guy where you say, man, they got to that Western Conference Finals, and he really limited Kevin Durant in a way that's why they won. Is Kevin Durant was a non-factor in that series, and because of P-Watt. Like, he represents that. But last year, he didn't play. Like, you want to talk about a confidence hinderer. Justin Holiday got to start, but got to play over him, despite the fact, as I brought up many times, he shut down Naj Reid in their last game. He was phenomenal against him. So, I was talking to somebody the other day. I think it was Jason Timpf. We were having a conversation. We were going through the name drop. I don't know if you guys it's our peer, guys. This is not a name drop. I was talking to him, and he was telling something about.
You thought for a second if you were going to drop his actual name.
Well, I just wanted to put it out there. Like,
I was talking to a guy.
He's like, I was talking to somebody.
Jason Tiff.
I was talking to somebody.
I'm never mentioning anything again.
I was talking to somebody the other day.
Never saying a word to these people.
Barack Obama. He was like,
Barry?
He was
my guy Barry.
Barry,
it's my buddy. No, but with P-Watt, that we were going through the numbers, and it was like after game 2, I can't remember what game it was. We were going through the game lots. He didn't play except for garbage time. He literally didn't play meaningful minutes or something. Really cut. And it's one of those things where, look, you can do that to him last year because it was effectively his rookie season. But he is another guy that I'm not sure Malone is a Malone guy. I think he's a guy that is on the Christian Braun path of becoming one. And this is a year where you need him to shoot well, and he's not necessarily a good shooter. You need him to not. There are players, and some of them are gone, who I know because I talked to them and I've talked to their agents about it. Where
drop the names.
This is one where you should actually drop the names.
Where they would be like, you know what?
I can't trust you.
He stopped dribbling the ball. Like he got yelled at because he had a turnover this one game, so he stopped dribbling. And you never want a player not doing anything, like just going through the motions. And Peyton Watson is a guy I worry about that because for him to be his best self, he's going to have to turn it over a little bit because he has to his skill set is not just catch, shoot, stand in the corner, ball doesn't come to you. It's like, no, he needs to involve himself.
He's cut.
Peyton Watson has way more playmaking and off the dribble stuff to his game than we saw last season. We saw it in flashes.
Yeah.
There are a couple moments where, pump fake, drive the lane, dish it, or just drive and just score.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of that to his game. He wasn't really asked. He didn't have the opportunity to show that off a ton last year. This year he's going to have to. They're just going to need some of that creation. So and that only comes with trust as well.
I don't know if you remember also, like P-Watt had a stretch where his mid-range was like really good.
It's kind of his shot.
It was like way better than you expected, and it just kept going in. And we were like, oh, like like real DeMar DeRozan type stuff. Like
Real, if you squint, Kevin Durant. Just
Yeah.
All
squint.
skinny.
Or if you close your
J.K.
eyes.
Waller says the little turnaround jumper.
Yeah, if you
He's
close
not
your eyes,
lying.
he looks just like Kevin Durant.
But you have to have the confidence to take. And here's what I mean is like Bo Nix goes out and has a terrible game. Sean Payton's like, blame everyone else. Can you imagine Peyton Watson having like a 5 turnover, 0 for 7 game and Malone being, blame Jamal, blame Aaron Gordon, blame me,
Wow.
blame the officials.
No, this would be like blaming the basket because his shots didn't go in. Like,
It was a bad basket.
yeah.
The next guy for me is Julian Strawther. So it's the young guys 1, 2, and 3 in this
Yeah.
order. I think this is the one like Julian is a Malone guy. He's running plays for him. He loves this dude. But it is a guy that if Malone, like here's one thing you could not do, I think, this year, and it sucks. And this is where Cal has put Malone, I think, in a tough spot, probably deliberately so. Julian can't have an 0 for 2 game and Malone yanks him.
Mm-hmm.
Julian has to have, if he's on his off nights, need to be 0 for 6. Because if you're pulling a guy 0 for 2 or he's gun shy, clearly it is affecting the part of his game that really matters, which is just the threat of shooting.
Julian Strawther being good makes this season so much easier. It's so much easier.
I have a sense that that's going to be the thing that happens that we're not talking about this year, that it's like we're so focused on Christian Braun, we're so focused on Peyton Watson, but like of those players, and again, like this is a silly metric to use, but it's the only one we've got, like of those players, the second year that they played in summer league,
Right.
Julian Strawther looked the most like
Right.
he had taken command. He was the guy. He looked really steady. He looked very confident. Again, in summer league doesn't mean anything, but sometimes it's an indicator for a player that has actually taken the next leap or has taken the leap and is no longer on the level of a summer league player, which is good for a rotation player in the NBA. But I think he's going to have like a good year, and we're not like really talking about it. And it's going to be impactful for the Denver Nuggets because their bench is going to be so much better.
Yeah.
He's going to have to shoot a lot, and
Yeah.
he's going to probably have a couple like 0 of 5 games. And he's going to have to keep shooting after those 0 and 5 games.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they just don't have anybody else to really make threes in the backcourt. And if Julian Strawther isn't good, they either have to keep playing him or sign or trade for somebody else to play in that spot because they only have 4 guards on this team.
Yeah.
And Julian Strawther's the 4th.
The next guy for me, you could go back and forth, but I honestly think it's Zeke Nnaji. Because rounding out my list, Zeke Nnaji, Michael Porter, Hunter Tyson, and we'll talk about each of them individually. But Zeke Nnaji, to me, I actually think he's semi-important this year. Partly, look, he has the contract. And again, this was in a world where when they signed the contract, the thought was good or bad, he's going to have a long leash and he'll play enough that someone will take him. But when you only play 500 minutes, almost all of them with 0 or 1 starters, and you look bad, it's like part of when people are like, why give him that contract? Now you can't trade him. I think you could. The guys get traded with $8-9 million a year contracts all the time. Mm-hmm. Not great players. That's a contract that teams are not scared of. They are scared when you can't even get on the court. And I think with Zeke Nnaji, if I were to rank them all from top to bottom, who do you, Malone, believe in? Pickett, dead last. But Zeke Nnaji is like tied for dead last. He's 1 hair above dead last. And that can't be the case this year, especially even if you just view him as a contract. He needs to be able to have his coaches back enough to play confidently. And a lot of this is on Zeke. But just to be able to be like, hey, there's a player in there we can trade.
See, I don't really see him playing.
Neither do I.
How? But how?
I feel like you've
Saric.
got your 9 guys pretty
Yeah,
locked
Char.
in.
Guys, if we go through the log, everybody plays like
But
plays
I'm
minutes.
saying you want Zeke Nnaji to play more than 500 minutes, play consistently.
500 is exceptionally low.
It seems like there's definitely less playing time available for him this year than there was last year. Last year, he came into the season as the unquestioned backup center.
So you don't think he can be Justin Holiday?
He has to earn those minutes. That's the problem. I think, and I agree with Wind. Like, I think that he will be given the opportunity, but it's on him to show that. I don't think that it's kind of like.
I just don't know if he's going to get the long runway this year.
Yeah,
that time was the last 3 years.
Again, but
Fool
to
me
me,
once, shame on me.
it's less about runway. Yoke, AG, Michael Porter, like any of these guys miss any games this year, and they likely are.
Right.
There's just no depth there. Saric, even, who, by the way, is a guy that misses a lot of games every single year traditionally.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then you talk about DeAndre Jordan is now 35 going on 30, or he's 36. So you're talking about before you could just throw DeAndre in there, but every year there's diminishing returns on this. This year, even more so. It's not because I think this is the year he needs to give him minutes because it's like he's earned them. It's that he's going to have to play because Denver's going to be shorthanded.
Yeah. It's I feel like when Zeke Nnaji has worked, it's been because he's played every night and gotten in a rhythm. And he's like, all right, these are my 15 minutes every night. This is the lineup I'm playing. Like consistent playing time, consistent role. That's what's worked for him in the small patches that it has worked. If he's in the Justin Holiday role, he's in the you got to stay ready to be ready type role. You're in that type of role.
That's what I think he's in. But Justin Holiday played almost 900 minutes last year.
Yeah.
I think that's what Zeke's in line for. I mean, he might get traded at the deadline, but cut it off, prorate it. I think that's what he should be in line for, which is more than last year, which was basically garbage time outside of a few little stints, like I said, with almost the entire bench. And then Michael Porter Jr. is on this list. Michael Porter, I think, is over a certain hump.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's still a level of like, we sit here and say that the Nuggets will be better if Michael Porter is a bigger contributor. And I just don't know if Michael Malone agrees with that. And one of the reasons I'm not sure if he agrees with that is because I don't think he believes Michael Porter can be more than that. But this is a year where it's like, whether you believe it or not, I think you kind of have to try.
Yeah, I think that, we were talking about your coach's impact on you. And I think it's like more prevalent for young players than it is for older players. Like, I don't think Russell Westbrook will care even a little bit what Michael Malone thinks about him. I think that,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's kind of like you have to get to the place where you just have enough self-belief that it doesn't matter, particularly in the NBA. You'd hear about guys, that have been retired for a while talking about the way they thought about their coaches. And like when you're young, I think it means a lot. And when you're old, you're like, this fucking guy, like whatever. I don't think that Michael Porter Jr. requires Michael Malone to like be showy in his praise of him, but I think he just needs to be given the opportunities to do it. Like, which he will, it's like, I just think that Michael Malone's ability to coach Michael Porter Jr. went through this phase as it had to. And I actually think we talked about it a lot during the time that it happened. Why isn't Mike on the court? This, that, or the other. And we were talking about the tough love approach that Michael Malone was giving Michael Porter Jr. But I think that's over now. Like, I just don't think it matters anymore for him specifically. And it's like the young players.
Russ might empower him in the way you're talking about.
Yeah.
Russ might be like, hey man, just shoot it.
That's my point.
Totally.
That's my point. Is that like, like you listen to Carmelo Anthony talk about George Carlin, like he hates him. Like,
Russell Westbrook is like the player's coach for this team in a way.
In exactly that way.
Yeah.
I mean, like in a lot of ways, because there's still that void.
He's
not
the coach
clear
on the floor.
It's not clear who the coach on the floor is. Sometimes we think it's Jamal. Sometimes we think it's Jokic. But Russell Westbrook is that guy. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic to see at the very least. But like, I don't think it matters anymore for Michael Porter Jr.
The last one is Hunter Tyson, because both Zeke and Hunter can't not play. You guys think Hunter is ahead of Zeke in the pecking order?
Yes.
No,
I do.
I don't.
I think it's like a bird in the hand, one in the bush, two in the hand. Like the devil you don't know is fooled you once.
I mean, it depends if the Nuggets really want to become the hunter this year.
All right, let's take a break. On the other side, we're going to talk about Jamal Murray's contract a little bit more.
You'll only get content like that here.
You only get that here. We're also going to ask how many legacies are on the line for Jamal Murray. That's part of this.
Doesn't he just have the one?
Well, you would think.
Guys, Bet365, never ordinary. They're what we use to bet here at DNVR.
Oh, I gave them a lot of money this weekend.
As we found out last week, it was a big betting weekend for you.
So I got. So you're saying I got your money.
You won the money. You bet all the unders for the Broncos?
I have your money.
All right, well, enjoy it.
Bet365.
You bet under. Are you
No, I mean, like, I just won my bets.
Yeah.
You gave the money to Bet365.
There was no overs that hit for the Broncos. So if you won, unless you took safeties, you were like, I think there's going to be multiple
Over
I
safeties.
didn't say the
field goals
Broncos. I just
made?
said you lost money. I won
Safeties,
money.
yeah,
I
safeties.
have your money.
Broncos
I
are
read on
a
my team.
great
That's what I
safety
do.
team.
We're different that way.
Great at safeties. There are so many boosts on Bet365. Over 10,000 different boosts every month.
a lot
That's
of
crazy.
boosts.
10,000 boosts every month.
Oh, it's a
Also,
Jamba
they
Juice.
have specific market boosts. So if you're in Denver, you're going to get boosts for Denver sports. Keep an eye out for custom DNVR bets and boosts. Also, download the Bet365 app. When you do, make sure to sign up with the code DNVR365. You can do a bet and get offer. Place a bet of $5 or more. Get $200 in bonus bets. or a first bet safety net offer. Place a bet up to $1,000. If your qualifying bet loses, you get a match refund and bonus bets. Must be 21 plus, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm going to tell you guys about Empire Today. With Empire Today, you get shop-at-home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guaranteed. You've used Empire before once or twice, have you not?
I've used it now many times.
So I love that our partners, people always think, do you really use them? We build sets around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do, we need flooring.
That's right. And when you say you of course mean me.
I mean, we take our wins together. You know what?
You're not going to get this win.
When they won the title with Nikola Jokic, he threw his arm around the Smith and was like, we did it, right?
Whoa, internal temp too high. This hot talk is really taking. Our talk is too high.
Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, there's copycats, but they can't beat them on quality, service, speed. So they advertise low quality products that Empire simply won't carry. They'll promise you low prices. They'll also deliver you the absolute best value. And they have all kinds of good floors. That's the best way to make your house look a little bit nicer. You know, put a little flooring in.
Beside the self-aggrandizing point that I used earlier, that I deal with them all the time, it's awesome. It's like very convenient. The way that it works is they will send out a representative. The representative will show up with a bunch of flooring samples, obviously, and then they'll take a picture of your space, and they have software that just puts it in context.
Just so everybody knows what's happening, the camera overheated and producer just left the studio.
I think that he knows something we don't. Like,
like the show's over, I think.
No, I think it's more like the camera's about to explode.
He said, "Oh no," and left the studio. It's not Kale today.
You know what? Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use that promo code DNVR. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DNVR for details. I didn't tell you guys this. I think some remodeling is in my near future. Have I told you?
No.
Yeah, I might
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off air.
Let's talk about it now while the screen is dark.
No, the screen will come back. We're going to be on our next topic. All right, here's segment 3. So over the weekend, some of us did an emergency podcast. Not all of us.
Dude, some people are built for emergencies.
Some people are built for it.
I think I would say because these people live their lives in sort of an emergency. Everything's an emergency in their lives, and they don't live a balanced life.
But we didn't get Harrison Wynn's takes here. 4 years, $208 million. Are we back? Kind of. We're back.
The talk has cooled off.
Yeah, right when we throw to Harrison, we get camera time again. You and me talking, it goes dark.
It's so hot, dude.
Yeah.
So, Harrison, what was just your immediate reaction? And I know you watched the show, so I don't have to tell you that. But what was your immediate reaction?
My immediate reaction was, thank God it's done, and I don't have to field questions about why it's taking so long.
Yeah.
This was a deal that I think we thought was happening all along, and that's what we were told, and it did end up happening. I went back and looked. Shams Charania on June 27th.
He quote tweeted that, by the way, to announce it.
Did he?
As almost to be like, I'm right, guys.
He was right.
Well, kind of.
I mean,
what was his phrasing?
Denver and star Jamal Murray are working toward a 4-year, $209 million maximum contract extension. Nuggets will present the deal to Murray.
Yeah.
And sides expect agreement. That's exactly what happened.
No, it's not. Come on, man. I mean, it is. They're working towards it over the next 3 months.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, if I could say something like, oh,
he went to play with Team Canada.
Yeah.
They tabled the talks.
Oh my God.
They started up
that's
again
all in the
after.
tweet? I didn't realize
No, that's just me filling you in.
Okay.
After the Olympics, they came back to the table.
Okay.
And it happened.
All right.
I think it's the right decision. I've been on record saying I think Jamal Murray should get a max. I think he deserves it.
Yeah.
Is it risky? Absolutely. It's very risky because if Jamal Murray is never the guy in the playoffs again that he was on the way to the championship, then the Nuggets are screwed. But if he can get back to close to that, this contract is worth it. And I believe that he can. All right, that was a good show.
I just thought that Harrison was defending the literalness of the tweet.
Well,
because a lot of people are like, oh my God, what is happening? And the whole time we were saying, guys, it's gonna happen. Like, this is just standard business. Like, it's just what happens.
I actually do think that speaks to that. Is that in that they the deal was laid out, clearly reported to Shams Charania that long ago, and it wasn't that they were fighting back and forth. It was like, no, they just got paperwork, dude. Like,
sure, there's little stuff I'm sure they negotiated. Absolutely, that happens in every contract.
Well, I'm told not. I'm told straight max with nothing pending. You know,
I know, but I'm sure there's some stuff still in there, like bonuses and likely and unlikely stuff. There's always that type of stuff in contracts. But for the most part,
the DNVR podcast,
yeah, a couple of those maybe. But I think for the most part, it was pretty smooth.
Well, you guys tried to talk me into it, and I didn't budge. Let's go now to the.
Is that because you were talking the whole time and not actually listening to what Harrison was saying?
Let's now go to this question that there's some disagreement on. I believe that there is more pressure than ever on Jamal Murray now. Our colleague and friend Matt Moore believes that there's less pressure than ever on him right now, and then I think you and Deb were kind of somewhere in the middle. But to me, I actually just think this Murray now has an enormous amount of contract and so many legacies on the line. Jokic's legacy is now on the line. Calvin Booth's legacy and job is on the line if he sucks like out the gate. But Booth, might be on Indeed.com. And then Michael Malone's legacy is a little bit on the line here in Denver. Is he going to be the guy for Denver long term? All of that to me hinges on him. So I think Murray feels that is going to really feel that pressure. And then lastly, we talk about Zeke Nnaji, unloved. Denver loves Jamal. But we all know fan love is conditional. If he sucks, very quickly, I think the fan base would turn on him. Or if he's just not up to taking Denver to the promised land, it'll go from Jamal's our guy to Jamal was our guy. And now he's here too long.
Are you on Twitter?
Yeah, but that's like a small vocal minority of people.
That was last season. I feel like that was last season. And then there's a line of demarcation. And then all those takes get extinguished and we start with a clean slate next year.
And I have one major issue with what you said, and I don't consider Matt Moore a friend or a colleague.
Come on.
Well, he's definitely not your friend. Probably not your colleague.
I'm just kidding, man.
Could it be a weird thing where Jamal Murray doesn't feel like there's pressure on him, but there is an insane amount of pressure on him? Like, obviously there is, but that's Matt Moore's perspective on it, is that, there should be, but he doesn't. He thinks it's going to be like, I got paid, man. What do I need? I kind of think that's how it's going to be too.
Wow.
But don't get me wrong. If Jamal Murray thinks that way, he is wrong because there is a ton of pressure on him. He's got to have a healthy, consistent, steady regular season next year. And he has to be closer to the guy he was on the way to the championship in the playoffs than the guy he was in the playoffs last year. If he doesn't do that, it's an unsuccessful season.
Does that scare you?
That's basketball. That's sports. Like, if your players don't play well.
No, not that part of it. The part where he's like, he might just not feel it because he doesn't. It's almost like you're saying he doesn't care. Like, Yoke's legacy might ruin. Booth might get fired.
I think he cares.
But this is, we can't know the internal drive of Jamal Murray.
Sure.
Does it make me nervous that so much is now entrusted to him? It's always been that way. It's just there was no expectation. Like, it's just he's got, like, he hears what people are saying. He sees tweets that Brendan Vogt puts out 3-4 in the morning.
That's true. He does see those, doesn't he?
He sees them. He knows what people think. I don't know how much, like, his personality is shown to be like a very defiant and standoffish in ways that are like Russell Westbrook, frankly. Like, like, he has utmost confidence in himself, which he should. He's an incredible, amazing, world-class player. I hope that he just, like, this is what I always come back to when I'm thinking about how this next season is going to unfold. We've talked about it a lot, but I really think Russell Westbrook's presence is going to be very, very helpful for Jamal Murray to, like, see how a guy that has gone through the league in such a way that has made me hate him so much and other fan bases hate him so much. And he hears things from everybody all the time and how it's like really either motivates him or full water off a duck's back. He doesn't care. Like,
I like that.
Which part? The duck?
The duck's back part.
Yeah, really Adam likes a duck. I've been getting duck TikTok lately.
Have you really?
I mean, duck
You're about
TikTok.
to get some more of it.
Yeah. What kind of duck's into this?
There's a duck.
Mallard?
No, there's a duck called a signal duck, or it's a small duck, but it's very loud and they're very cute.
He's so into duck TikTok.
I call it duck.
Signal?
I call it duck
I'm
talk.
going to look this up in a break. I actually want to ask the last part of this. We'll take a break. I thought we were going to get to Christian KCP. Guess what? Tomorrow's show that'll texture it, which will be great.
So skip tomorrow's show, guys.
Good work.
We have all these great graphics coming up tomorrow.
We'll use him tomorrow. I'm just saying. These guys wouldn't shut up, man. They kept talking. We're going to take a
Sorry
quick
for
break.
talking on this podcast.
On the other side, then I'll ask you, could the pressure arrive on his door? So he doesn't feel it, but man, he has a bad November. Nuggets are struggling. If things go south for the Nuggets, does it all fall on Jamal's shoulders this year? We'll take a break and we'll talk about that.
Breckenridge Brewery. Love our guys over at Breck Brew. They've been huge supporters of DNVR for a while. And I try to support Breck Brew as much as I can also.
I supported them lavishly this weekend.
How did you support them exactly?
In that I was drinking their product, and then I lost the support of my own legs at a certain point and had to just lay down and go to sleep.
Okay.
Breckenridge Brewery is the official craft beer of DNVR. You can check out their new West Coast style IPA, the Ridge Runner, this double dry hop brew inspired by the untamed beauty of Colorado's trails and creates notes of bright citrus and pine. Try out some of our other favorites, the Appalachian Amber, the Mile High City, the Broncos Country Pale Ale,
it as everything.
They have seltzers too, if that's your thing. Check out the beer locator, breckbrew.com, to find a brew near you. breckbrew.com. Type in your zip code, shows you where to get Breckenridge Brewery no matter where you are.
You guys want to drink some Breck Brews together? Come out this Sunday to the tailgate. I'll be there.
Tailgate.
But I got my plan. I'm going up to the mountains. I'm planning to leave extra early just so I can get back for the tailgate, because you know what?
Brother,
Tailgates in September are like peak, man.
brother, I will tell you, the bar was electric yesterday. I'm not kidding at all.
Really?
It was so full. People
we need
were
to check on
very excited about. Yeah, it was electrocuted. People were very excited about the Denver Broncos, just like everyone in our chat. That's why they chimed in today to hear how Bo Nix relates to the Denver Nuggets. But listen, man, we were in a dark period that I call baseball season. And we're out of it, and the bar is back, baby.
That's
It's
tough,
time to go. Come
not
to the
wrong.
bar, come to the tailgates. It be lit.
Sunday, it's right behind Sports Fan on 18th and Federal. You won't get a better view. It's literally right in front of the stadium. You see the city in the backdrop. It's gorgeous. We have Primo Hoagies. We have Breck Brew, Breck Distillery. And, of course, you get to hang out with us. So I'll be there. I know D-Lan will be there. I don't know. You going to be around?
I might.
You got the little one. Maybe not.
I might.
But come check it out. Guys, I made the worst. You were talking about pine. I made the worst purchase the other day.
Oh, no, dude.
I got an air
This could
freshener.
really be anything.
Do you ever do an air freshener? You're testing it out in the store or something. You're like, how's this one smell? You're like, oh, that one smells pretty good. And then you get home and realize you had the tiniest amount of it.
Yeah, that's every air freshener.
And then you spray it and you're like, oh my God, this is so powerful. I had one. It's still in my house. Like I still can't. I had to throw the whole thing away.
Was this is this an air freshener like a?
It was a spray at
you've
Febreze or something.
Is this
know,
like
one of those.
you've left a certain room of the home and you ruined it and now you have to cover, or is this you just want your home to smell like pine?
You know what? I'll let everybody else can figure out.
I've got 5 words for you.
Yeah.
Bed, Bath, and Body Works.
Oh,
What do they got?
The best air fresheners.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, dude.
Hold
come
on. Did you just combine 2 stores?
No, that's the store.
Bath and
Bath-
Body Works
Bed
and
Bath
Bed Bath and Beyond are two.
Bed Bath and Body Works.
Oh, I mean Bath and Body Works.
Yeah, which one is it? Bath and
Bath
Body
and
Works?
Body Works,
Not
yeah.
Beyond.
Yeah, not Beyond.
All right, Bath and
Within
Body
the
Works.
boundaries
In
of
the mall.
Body Works.
Good catch on that, by the way.
Bath and Body Works.
So what about this, Harrison?
Yeah.
Murray has never really gotten off to
Such a
great
dad
starts.
over
Has never gotten off to great starts. But what if this season he doesn't get off to a great start? Nuggets, let's just say Nuggets are 5-5. Everything's kind of, you could blame anyone. It's like Rorschach's check. You could blame everyone. I think that he is going to be in front of everything this year. Everybody's equally to blame. 100% of it goes to Jamal. What do you think?
I think he's going to get the majority of it. That's going to be the default, obviously, because every question with the Nuggets starts right now with Jamal Murray. You know, like, how good are they going to be? Well, how good is Jamal Murray going to be? Like, are they a championship contenders? Well, I mean, is Jamal Murray going to be? What version are we going to get of him? So every question kind of starts with him. It's absolutely integral that he gets off to like a hot start this season. If he doesn't, the Nuggets are probably getting off to a bad start, right?
Him
like,
personally.
if Jamal Murray really struggles, it's tough to envision like the Nuggets having an unbelievable start to the season.
Yeah.
Like if I'm Jamal Murray, man, like I gotta think, I get the max deal. That's done. That's out of the way. I just had this awful playoffs, and this team still gave me a max deal. Like I gotta feel fortunate for that. I have this bad summer with Canada. All right, I gotta get healthy. Training camp, preseason. I just gotta take this shit seriously. I've gotta hope that's his mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't think there's as much pressure either? But
there's massive pressure on him. He will absolutely shoulder every bit of the blame if it goes poorly. Nikola Jokic is minted. He's goated. There's no chance any of the blame falls on him. Even if he has a bad season, people would say it's Jamal's fault for not getting him the ball. And that is, you're talking about the two focal points of an offense that gave them a title. And so, like, if Jamal is not playing well and he just got the max, I mean, people are going to be like, you know how sports are, you know how fans are. That's exactly where everyone will go. Like, everyone's looking at Jamal side-eyed now, which is for the first time in his career, which is crazy.
But conversely, the opposite is true. Like, the moment I felt like the Nuggets were winning the title was game 1 of the Sun series, and it was because Jamal Murray was on fire, and Jamal Murray said, "We're ready for this." And I was like, okay, there it is. Now we're complete. And I feel like there's going to be something similar this year, where right now Nuggets Nation is very unsettled, very unsure of what's going on. Or is this team over with? Is this contract going to kill us? But Murray comes out and just has a dope, even opening night. Murray comes out and just has a banger of an opening night and has a "we're ready for this moment" kind of thing. It'd be like, oh, we're so back. The backometer is a real thing.
The backometer, first off.
Tomato.
It is hilarious how just perspective in life is everything. If we had, like, if the Nuggets had not won the title 2 years ago and had last season happen, people would be like, fuck yeah, we're going. We got it. Like, we were so close. We just lost that second round. We should have made it to the other. Like, they would be full of hope and optimism. But because it was a step back, last year was an abject failure, and Jamal Murray sucks. Yeah. And it's just, we're not in any different place. I mean, this is the byproduct of talking about this team every single day, even when there's like, they don't even currently exist.
They're not talking about themselves right now.
They're not currently a team. They're just a bunch of guys vacationing.
That's so true.
Like, we're talking about them. They're not talking about. They would
be so like frightened to be like, wait, you guys did 100 shows?
It's like 5 days a week? I don't even practice 5 days a week.
It'd be like if we're
putting in more reps this offseason than the Nuggets.
It's like if we came to work here and everyone is in the parking lot talking about what's up with Vote. Where's Vote today? And we're like, what do you mean? Anyway, we're in a different place, but the Nuggets are still on their path. Calvin Booth said that last year was going to happen the way it did. He was like, we're going to sacrifice this year because we're going to put all of our efforts into developing our young core, because that's what this new paradigm of the NBA requires, that you build from within. You can't just sign players like you used to be able to because of all these new rules. So, like, that's what happened, guys. Like, we're still on the same timeline. You know, like, does it happen? I don't know. But, like, the Nuggets are still exquisitely dope. So is Jamal Murray. We have Nikola Jokic. Like, it's just we're still here, baby.
Well, so on that point, can you pull up Oso Blanco's comment right here? He says the Nuggets have no chance of making fans happy.
Is one that says exactly, just to point out what a great comment I had.
Nuggets have no chance of making fans happy during the regular season. Last year they won 57 games. People were unsatisfied. This year, worst playoffs though. Let's go. I actually disagree with this, because I honestly think last year was when you're at the top, there's nowhere else to go. You could only go down. Whereas this year, you're kind of down. I actually think the Nuggets can rescue the vibes. And we
are down after the records, the most wins ever in a regular season.
But I'm telling you, what's better, a championship or 57 wins? A championship. So, like, there was nothing there. Whereas I think now you're almost washed back through the waters of disappointment to where it's like, oh, now it feels good to be back, out of the cold.
We've been rebaptized in shit.
It is. It's kind of, I think there's something to it where this year,
Nug life is back.
And when I say you, I mean I won't take for granted as much the little, wins along the way, because it's like, oh yeah, remember last year.
Grab back onto hell, everyone.
Grab back onto hell. Speaking of which, I should tease this. Ariana, believe flying her out here this year.
What?
The Tarot episode's only about a month away.
Oh, God,
I believe it's going to be October 15th, somewhere around. It's a preseason game, one of the preseason games. She'll fly to be in studio with us.
Oh my
And then
God.
also to do tarot readers, if anybody wants to do them, you could purchase a tarot reader for her down the bar, which I think would be a super fun way. It's one of our favorite episodes. But well, how fun will that be? To do that
Oh my
episode
God.
and watch a game
I mean,
together.
fun, but nerve-wracking.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
it's
nervous right now.
Yeah, dude. When you're in front of
She's a good witch, guys. Chill.
no, it's not her power. It's just she's going to reveal to
Reveal
you
the truth.
It's not up to her.
Yeah, it's not up to her. It's like
She's just pulling the cards.
So look forward to that. That will be a great night for you to come to the bar. You watch Nuggets preseason game, which is like pretty good.
yeah,
but more
that's
importantly,
a 4.
Jokic 0 points, 0 rebounds, 10 assists.
And we might have to do you guys remember on Ted Lasso where they get the trash can and they burn, everybody has to burn something that like they're holding on to that's keeping them back. We might have to burn things from last season. We might have to have a
that
big
fucking
like
$2 bill. It's days of never.
I feel like this team lost 10, like, won 10 games back.
That's the best
did,
part.
Yair.
This is the best part is that Yahir is not subject to this talk all day,
Yeah.
every day.
It's
He's
like,
like,
wow,
oh,
these guys are depressed.
We're acting like the Nuggets only won 10 games and Jokic did not win a thing.
Yaya actually usually produces the Broncos show.
they've been in hell. They're
I know depression. I live in it every day.
What if maybe it's like we'll have everybody print out their worst tweet and we'll have to like throw them in there, you know, like
I think mine might involve the avatar for the Nuggets.
I actually think that was one of your best tweets.
And then lastly, Wind, is there a moment you think we're going to know whether or not this contract is, you know, like things are for real? Is it not until next year's playoffs? Is
Yeah.
it really?
I think it's in the playoffs. Yeah.
So Murray can have an awesome regular season. You're gonna be like, we don't know though.
Dude, he had
Great.
He only played 65 games last year. I think it was
six. He missed 23. Do
So-
the math. It was a 9.
you do the math.
59 games.
Okay, he only played 59 games last year. He had clearly his best statistical season.
On this point, do you have these graphics for us?
He shot 42%, by far a career high.
Pull them up. I got all advanced stats, by the way. To your point, I'm glad you brought this up. This is Jamal Murray's win shares per 48 minutes. So this is per the minutes he plays. By far the best last year. Let's go to the next one. PER, best of all of the years of his career. And then let's go to box plus minus. Look at that one. Box plus minus really loved him twice as good as any year
And
he's
the
ever
counting
had.
stats back this up too. Career high in assists, career high in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage.
Yeah.
Career high points per game even, I think, even though it was around what he did a couple years ago, 21.2, I think. Other than the health aspect of it, which is a huge thing with Jamal Murray, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of the equation. He had his best regular season of his career. So I think he's probably going to have a pretty similar regular season next year.
Okay.
Hopefully he stays healthy, because in the end, those injuries are what derailed him in the playoffs, I do think, for the most part. So I feel like he could have the same regular season, a good regular season statistically, but we won't really know until we see how spry and leveled up he looks for the playoffs.
I disagree. I think he's going to have his best regular season. I just think that he has to hear the noise. Murray is definitely we've talked about the offseason.
This is like saying that Jokic is going to lead the Nuggets in scoring. We just look at the chart. Every season is his best season.
Yep. Yeah. And he's
He literally had his best season.
So I think
every
he's going to
season.
have a pretty similar one to last year, but like
I
a
think
little
he's-
better.
Here's the difference. I think he's going to be in the best shape of his life. And this
Okay.
is where I'm sticking my reputation out. Like I'm serious.
Clip
Like,
this. Clip it.
yeah, clip it here.
He got left.
My two, I think, we all have our agendas or like predictions for the year. I think two of mine are going to be one, Christian Braun, I think is going to be really good for the starting lineup. I think he's going to look better than people think. And two, I think Jamal Murray is going to be in noticeably better shape and just have a better season than ever before. In large part because I've said Murray is a guy that I think is externally motivated, not necessarily internally, and that's why it sucked a little bit last year. Is he kept talking about it was hard because we're in a different role. But this year, everybody talks shit about him, and I think there's a level of, you know what, F it.
Well, people talk shit about him. His own GM and coach talked about how he's at his best when he's in the best shape.
When he's in better shape.
Yeah. So he's heard the noise. I definitely think there's a chance that happens. I definitely think he's spent this whole summer like reflecting on what was an awful end to the season for him and an awful end to the season for the Nuggets. And I do think there's a good chance it does motivate him to be in the best shape of his career.
Planting my flag. I got those two flags I've already planted.
I
We're
was
a
just
month
thinking,
away.
yeah, I was thinking we have to have the show where we all state publicly our agendas, but that's the preview series. We do
It
that
is.
every
It
year.
really is. All right, let's get to our super chats. We have two from two completely different people.
Oh my God.
Cedric Exquisite.
Triple X, by the way, which we've never really unpacked, but let's keep going.
No, Adam and Eric. Tensions in the front office seem high because if Michael Malone fails to get us the chip, he might be fired. I'm going to be on Serbian corner this week.
Nice. A
There you
good
go.
point and a self advertisement.
Then a completely different person.
Exquisite Nugget, also with 3 X's.
What? That's a coincidence.
Dude, is that just
I did a Jamal
Cancerous.
Cancerous
There you
episode
go.
on my channel, and no, he's not worth the 208 million guys, and no Kale. It's shut up and take my money. It's going on a shirt.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Kale's not even here, everybody. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us a full hour. Tomorrow, Christian Brown, KCP, and I have some numbers from Second Spectrum that I'm telling you guys. I wanted to share them today. That was my plan. This is what I do. I can look at Second Spectrum. We'll have that tomorrow's show. It's going to be a banger. Hit the like button on the way out.
We all silly like the mayor.